Hi guys, Piotr here, this is LiteFinance Global YouTube channel. It's my pleasure to be with you again. Today we are going to discuss the CPI, PPI out of the US. Very interesting week, upcoming week. I'm recording this video on Sunday, so I'm going to go through some few USD charts, and we are going to discuss what's the market expectations. So without further ado, let's jump straight into the video. Alright folks, this is a monthly chart of the euro dollar, and what is important here, what we have to take into the consideration is where we are and what has happened lately. The most important thing I would say is the market behavior, how the market behaved lately. That's the one thing. The second thing, what's the market expectations when it comes to the inflation, especially US inflation, and what's the members of the FOMC comments we've seen lately. So the first thing first, let's discuss the long-term chart of the euro dollar, all right, and what has happened over the course of the third quarter, because that was the break to the downside, as you can see, right? We went through the very important support over the course of the second quarter. We built two lower shadows, then the market crossed down, and that was the beginning of the third quarter. Then we've seen the retest and lately another retest and moving even lower. So we hit quite a few targets. If you do remember, we were discussing euro dollar in case of the central banks meeting. So we made them quite good analysis. We hit quite a few targets. Now, if we are talking about the end of the third quarter, there is a little bit of the long lower shadow, and the beginning of the last quarter, it was the rally. We just hit the entry level of the September, and we've seen the rejection mostly because of the Fed comments and the US data, as well as weak European data. So that's how the things looks like. And mostly the lower shadow over here, it was some big names been taking some profits towards the end of the third quarter. And guys, to be honest with you, it's almost 1,000 pips, right? So I'm not quite surprised that some guys, especially those big names who has to show the reports, earnings reports each and every quarter for their clients, they decide to take that. Is this the low for euro dollar? Well, to be honest with you, I don't know. I see the possibility to move lower. Now, what market is trying to build on is some expectations that we are either inflation in US peaked already or we are very close. But of course, completely different comments, and there is some kind of the disagreement between the market and the Fed, because almost even those guys who were the doves, their turn and they sounds like a very big hoax. So all of them saying that it's a quite long way for the Fed to finally achieve the goal and move the inflation down, and they are going to fight the inflation even in case of the higher unemployment rate, because guys, the wages are going higher. So the way the Fed wanna move inflation lower is to see the pickup in unemployment and stabilization of the wages, or even wages going lower. That could provide the things when it comes to the inflation to move lower. Well, dollar is still strong, staying strong, and probably going it's going to be like this towards the end of the year. There is a one-way ticket as of now, as you can see, a pretty nice downward channel, and as long as we are staying within that channel, that's the name of the game. So you are trying to selling the uptick based on the weekly chart above parity. We've been at the beginning of the October there, maybe a little bit higher. When it comes to the downside, the buyers are around the bottom of the channel, so it could be some kind of swing low creation 96.80, and then bottom of the channel even below the latest low. So let me put the channel a little bit different way. Just a second. Okay. Like this, so it's gonna be better visible for you, and that's the weekly chart. So we are going to make the blue color, right? And the thing is that we are going to place few lines, so that might be the swing low over here. That's the first possible short-term target for bears and buying point for longs. If we are going to break through that level, then bottom of that channel, as you can see, down towards 90.50 as a second target, right? To the upside swing high with the top of the channel, as I mentioned, above parity, maybe up towards even 160. So that's the weekly when it comes to the euro dollar. Briefly, daily chart. Here is the point that we broke this quite strong demand zone the bulls built over the course of the last few days, and been broken on Thursday, confirmation on Friday after still quite good US job data. And for me, especially that this consolidation been broken as well, we are going to retest this 96.60, and we are opening based on the daily 94.50 and 93.50 we discussed based on the weekly chart. So that's how the things looks like when it comes to euro dollar. Let's have a look what we have on the cable, because we've seen the crash, right, based on the fixed income market in UK. And let's have a look how does the things looks like based on the quarterly chart, because here, as you can see, the close of the previous quarter been well below the previous low. We just seen the retest at the beginning of this month and still have the rejection. So I would say that the parity is the name of the game on the cable, and we might see some kind of the stabilization only when the price is going to get back above 120. Still towards the mid of the October, Bank of England promised to make the intervention if necessary on the bond market. So that's quite interesting. There is a huge mess, of course, when it comes to the UK. So here, from the monthly and quarterly chart perspective, possibility of the move to the downside. So let's check on the weekly chart a few possible entry points. As you can see, the latest rally been exactly rejected within the supply zone, right? Because what we have here, it was a drop base rally drop, and the rejection was exactly at that particular point. So what we have here, it's possible swing high, so around 116.50, and the bottom, so that's the full weekly supply zone, which almost half of that zone, mid that zone, been tested to the downside. Swing low could be the name of the game. So the first target short term is 108.50. And then trying to move lower and taking out the low, the crash after the weekend, right? Low, if going to be taken out, then the parity over here is the name of the game. So let's have a look at what we have when it comes to the daily chart. No big changes, as you can see here, the same the same zone, consolidation zone now being tested, and we've seen the quite good rejection. So the lower shadows over here are gonna to work as a possible demand, but strong one, as I mentioned, 106.50, and then 102.60 and parity. That's how the things looks like when it comes to the cable. When it comes to the inflation, on Wednesday we are going to get the producer price index PPI, and Thursday CPI, so the consumer price index, and the expectations in both cases, especially month to the month, are higher. When it comes to the core PPI, market is looking for a lower, and the same when it comes to the CPI, core CPI, market is looking for a lower, for the lower number. But again, the folks representing Fed are very, very hawkish. So the last one is dollar yen, and here very, very one way big move to the upside. The big demand is in between this possible swing low. So that's the based on the monthly chart. So 133.25, all right, and the possible bottom breakout candle 130.50, as well as this swing high being broken, in that case 137, and the bottom of the breakout candle around 139 over here. So that's how I see the things in case of the strong intervention based on the Bank of Japan comments. From the weekly chart perspective, as you can see, some upper shadows are being built. So I do expect, in case of the pullback, I do expect the same size as we've seen here. So that's the zone from the monthly chart, 137, 139 over here. That's the name of the game when it comes to the buyers. I can't see any kind of the change in a trend as of now when it comes to the dollar yen. So the pullbacks are gonna be used as a buying opportunity. We've seen lately some kind of the high volume candles, most probably some kind of the profit taking, but it could be also related to the Bank of Japan intervention. As of now, short term, 146 to the upside, 45.80, 46 to the upside, 140, 139 to the downside. That's the name of the game, and watch out for upcoming inflation data. With that being said, guys, wish you great next trading day, next trading week. Be careful, do your own homework, do your own research as usual. Take care, guys, stay safe, goodbye, see you around.